pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. The agenda, is there any changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, can I add tax pamphlet conversation on?
Tax pamphlet?
Yeah.
Anything else? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda then.
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, motion approved, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Next, we got several minutes. First one is for October 1st, 2024. Is there any corrections to those?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the October 1, 2024 minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. And we have the minutes from October 7th. Is there any, 2024, is there any corrections to those?
I'd make a motion to approve the October 7th, 2024 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Then we have October 10th, 2024. Is there any corrections to those minutes?
I would move to approve the October 10th as submitted.
Okay, I have a motion, to have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. And we have October 16th, 2024.
We're busy.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the October 16, 2024 minutes as presented.
And I'd second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. And we also had a second meeting on the 2nd, or the 16th also. Is there any correction to those?
I move we accept the second meeting of October 16th minutes.
Okay, do I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Okay. I think that covers all the minutes in. And accounts payable, is there any questions, accounts payable? We have one to add for the road department, okay, for Butler, for $37,716 for we have to add that to the accounts payable. And then we have one from the auditor's office, right?
Yes, I have, the mall election cost came in yesterday for using the mall space for the early voting and election day, and it came in at $16.80. So I'd like to go ahead and pay them now that we're done with that space.
Okay. Any other questions on the accounts payable?
Was that accounts payable for the cutting edge? Is that, I thought I saw another cutting edge invoice as well.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yep.
See, we buy them by the semi-load, a whole semi-load, we get 50% discount on them when we buy them that way, and they'll last us for a few years.
Okay.
If there's no,
Do they, like, when they're wore out, you recycle for them to reharden them?
They go to the
Recycle.
recycle bin and out to the
Scrap.
Robertsons.
Okay.
Are they universal or are they trade specific?
All the new motor graders, they got a 3/4 bolt hole, square hole. The older ones were all 5/8, but yeah, one fits them all.
Okay, they're universal.
Yeah, every blade we own, we put them on.
So I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable.
okay, I have a
The
motion.
add-ons.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Roll call vote then. Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Masser,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried. On Park Board, is there anything we need to approve it for the Park Board?
Do we need to, on that RFP? I don't know. I don't think we need to do that.
Are you paying it out of park board?
There is no
side?
expense yet at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
It's just an authorization for an RFP.
Nope.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, if there's nothing there, then we'll go on to the, we have a Years of Service Award for this year. Natalie, you wanna come? Natalie Waters has been with the county for 20 years. Thank you for your service in here. Next, we'll go to the sheriff's report.
Chairman, Commissioners, good morning. October highlights for the Stark County Sheriff's Department. Total calls for service for the month of October is 1,583. This is down from 1,604 last year. There's 119 traffic stops. This is down from 188 last year. 346 public relations stops. This is down from 351 last year. There were 14 24/7 program violations issued in the month of October. 7 theft-related calls for service. This is down from 8 last year. It was 13 canine usages, 43 school zone patrols, 61 traffic citations issued out of those 119 stops. Responded to 19 accidents, 0 of those pedestrians, 0 fatality, 1 hit and run, 2 injuries, 16 property accidents.
Please enter your password.
There were, I don't really care. There were 13 prisoner transports, 12 court transports, 3 medical transports, 0 juvenile, 1 assist, and 4 mental health.
Is on hold when connected.
Civil Division had 244 paper attempts. Out of those, 52 were subpoenas, 145 were civil papers, and 7 were criminal papers. And why those, I guess I never explained that in the past, why the attempts don't match the other numbers is a lot of times there'll be an attempt with no service or no,
So you might have multiple
Correlating
attempts,
them.
multiple attempts.
yeah, I
on
might
the
come
same-
to your door 3-4 times, Bernie, correct. Thank you. 84 total arrests for the month, 63 of those were warrant served. We had that transport, we had to pick up a gentleman, I believe, in Salt Lake City. So you'll see a bill on that. The Belfield situation where the body was located out there, that's been resolved. We'll release more details on that when the time comes. There is obviously no danger to the public, otherwise we would have put that out immediately. Again, so that situation is resolved and we'll release those details when we're able to, after we receive some information from the state lab. The officer involved shooting that took place in Dickinson last month. I just want to clarify we were not involved in that incident and really had very little involvement after the fact as well. Elections, we helped out with the early elections. We did some, several walkthroughs for that. We also had people at the 3 locations in Dickinson on election day and in Belfield and Richardson as well. And of course, we had our multiple Halloween events throughout the end of October there. A few different days. We were at Richardson, Taylor, Belfield. We had an event at Touch a Truck event at Tractor Supply that same day, so that was a busy day. That was October 26th, Saturday. And of course, Halloween night, we were at the Touch a Truck downtown and then the Halloween event. All right. Any questions on that? All right. I have a couple new deputies I want to introduce and swear in front of you all, and then if Commissioner Franchuk, if you could sign off on those after I swear them in, I appreciate it. First up will be Chandler Warner. Deputy Wanner. No, all men by these present that by the power vested in me, I hereby constitute and appoint Chandler Wanner as Deputy Sheriff in and for the County of Stark, State of North Dakota, this 7th day of November, 2024. Chandler, if you'll raise your right hand and read your oath, please.
I, Chandler Wanner, having been appointed to the office of Deputy Sheriff within and for County of Stark, State of North Dakota, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of North Dakota and that I will faithfully and truly discharge all duties of Deputy Sheriff to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Sign your oath, please. Thank you. Mr. Franchuk, you sign and witness that. You guys have any questions for Mr. Wanner? I'm sure you've met him at the front. He's been with us for a couple weeks.
Welcome aboard.
Yes.
Welcome. You're from Dickinson?
Yes.
Cool. I'm glad you decided to stay here. And I'm glad you picked the career that you wanted and that you chose.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, next up will be Rosalind White. She's mad at me today because she's going shooting to qualify with her rifle and shotgun, so that's why she's wearing blue jeans and a sweatshirt, so you'll have to excuse her. All right, I'll take that. Step up here. And you prefer to go by Lynn, correct?
I do.
Okay, you guys and gals can remember that, please. No, all men by these present, that by the power vested in me, I hereby constitute and appoint Rosalind White as Deputy Sheriff in and for the County of Stark, State of North Dakota, this 7th day of November, 2024. Lynn, if you would raise your right hand, swear your oath, please.
I, Rosalind White, have been appointed to the office of Deputy Sheriff within and for the County of Stark, State of North Dakota, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of North Dakota, and I will faithfully and truly discharge all of the duties Deputy Sheriff to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Sign your oath, please. Any questions for Lynn, you guys?
Are you related to this White?
I am not.
And you're from where?
Originally from Oregon.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Well, once again, I'm glad you chose the Dickinson, and I'm glad that you chose the career you chose.
You as well.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is that all for your report, Sheriff? Or? Okay. We got a out-of-state travel request by Lieutenant Mayor.
Chairman, Commissioners, good morning. Excuse me, this cold's going around and I think I caught it. Lieutenant Eldon Mayer, Stark County Sheriff's Office. Just have an out-of-state travel request for training for our drug task force officer to Indian Wells, California. It's for the California Narcotics Officers Association annual training. Typically, the task force sends someone to this training and conference every year. They do it on a rotating basis. This year, they're sending two individuals, and Trey will be one of those that will be attending. It's November 21st to the 27th. Topics that they'll be in there, obviously it's a conference, but workshops every day from 8 till 5:30. Some of the topics that will be discussed will be asset forfeiture, cryptocurrency and the dark web, fentanyl investigations, informant development, informant management, interview techniques. Those are just a few. A lot of other topics, and they'll get to choose from a range of those. So I just need approval to send. There is no cost to the county or to the sheriff's office other than his salary. The task force is taking care of travel and the conference fees on that, so.
And the task force, that's a state funded?
It's the Southwest Narcotics
Okay.
Task Force, so made up of Dickinson PD, Stark County, Dunn County, Golden Valley County, and BCI.
Make a motion to approve November 21st to the 27th travel.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Is it always in Indian Wells?
I don't know for sure. I think so.
Great, great.
Questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, next we have Road Department Superintendent Heiser.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Great.
Just a few items here. I think it's on the agenda to approve the RFP for the box culvert at South Art. We did have two engineering firms that submitted RFPs, and after a scoring selection, KLJ was awarded construction engineering for the project. So I think we need a resolution. And I think Todd's probably got that all filled out for you, Karen. It just needs to be, Dean has to sign it and send it to him.
They have it in their packets too.
Okay.
You want an action?
I think it has to be an actual motion, yes.
I'll move to authorize the chairman to sign the resolution.
That's second.
Motion is second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And one other item, actually that little bit of rain we had the other day, we got every county-owned blade out blading. We're gonna try and go as long as we can. I'm thinking probably by tomorrow evening, it's probably gonna be dried up enough, but we do have some water tankers kind of running with it to kind of get it set back down. The trucks here earlier this week before the rain, we were hauling over on 34th and 119 just west of Dickinson. Fisher's actively crushing on the Hindley Pit over there, south of Antelope Interchange. And so we're actually testing the gravel. We're actually gonna probably end up rejecting some of the natural fines out, so the pile that we make is pretty good gravel. And then we take the fines that we reject and we bring scoria down, we blend that together, so it makes pretty good road on some of the minimal traveled roads, so we'll be able to use all the material coming out of there. One other item he's got up on the board was brought to my attention by Bobby Kubis, and he wanted to attend, but he couldn't, but he sent me a text message, and I'll read what he said. He says, "You just reiterate, it's fine that Ryan has his road where it is. I don't like the fact that the road work without my consent, especially since he was removing dirt. However, that is between him and I. I do think the county should make and reclaim it, seed it to grass with some straw erosions and wattles." And then his biggest concern is he doesn't want to be held liable for any vehicle accidents or liability from the county on how the road was improved on the county right-of-way, because he had no part in the project and knew anything of it. So,
What's the length?
it's probably a quarter mile-ish. And see if in the picture up there on where the fence side is, it was kind of a steeper bank, so he actually cut that dirt down. And I think you'll see them piles there, he actually kind of hauled it off, because I don't think he actually moved the square. He did improve it some, but, it's not approved to our county standards. And I think Bobby's more concerned being he's actually went in, and we do have a section line policy. If you upgrade a section line, it's got to be up to county standards, which it's not.
Is this south of town?
No, that's over by Bellfield.
Okay.
On 125th, where it goes underneath the interstate, it's to the north and then back to the west.
So that my concern would probably go with Mr. Kubas is if we approve this or let this go on, where down the line does our liability start with it?
On the flip side of the coin now, what do you do to, at a given, I think Bob is right, he should plant it back to grass.
Yes, I agree.
And, so it doesn't have any erosion. It's not like it's really steep hills where it's gonna get a lot of momentum water running down the hills, but, Amanda and I discussed it, we're just not quite sure where we want to go with this.
Well, and the other, I guess, concern I have is we do have a policy in place that when you do improvements, it has to be up to the county standard. And if we look the other way on this one, how are you gonna enforce it in the future?
I agree with you. That was a concern that, when I first heard this, was a concern I had also.
So initially, it was just a two-track.
It was kind of a two-track trail. It's on the section line. I think we actually put a little scoria on it a while back.
The county did.
Yeah. Because actually, I believe there's a daycare back there.
So the scoria that's visual now,
I don't think he touched it. I think he took the dirt off the left, and you see there's a pile to the right picture and way on the end. I think he just,
so his bigger issue was what was done to his side of the easement.
yep, his side of the section line without his even knowing until after he started it.
And that's Bobby's on the left.
Bobby's, you can't see Bobby's is back to the west, and he's on the north side of the road. I mean, excuse me, to the east.
Okay. This is looking north?
That's looking south.
Oh, okay.
I think at a given, I don't think the actual driving lane itself was changed any. I think it's just the fact that it was kind of upgraded without his. I don't think he really wants to start a war with his neighbor, but I think Bob really wants it. He doesn't want to be liable if anything happens because, he owns the center of the section line.
Are you maintaining this road now?
I believe so, yeah.
But it's public, I mean, he owns the section line, or to the.
They
middle of
each
the
own
road.
to the middle, so.
Yeah, I mean, which, like any other public right of way. Right, so honestly, he has no liability on that section line.
Right. And one thing about it, my biggest concern is when you build a road on a section line, especially when you come over hill, it fits so narrow. But one thing about this section line, you can see from one end to the other, so it's not like there's any blind hills. But when you do come out to the main road, there is kind of a hill to the east, which wasn't ever disturbed, so.
What was the improvement? He just put he put a ditch in there?
I think, I don't remember, but I believe where the fence line is, I think it was kind of a high bank, and probably was kind of a snow trap.
I'm sure it was all done with,
What did he do that wasn't up to county standards?
Well, if you want to build a road on the section line, we have a section line road policy. A section line road is a full-blown road, a 24-foot top. It's got 4-foot deep ditches, and there's no way you can build a road like that without getting right where the fence is in the way.
And he didn't alter the road at all?
The driver's surface, I don't believe he did. He just kind of altered the ditches
On both sides.
on both sides, yeah. I actually think there was so much dirt there by the fence side, he piled it up over there because I don't think he wanted to put it on top of the.
Al, how does that affect you in the winter? Since you
I don't
maintain
think
that
it's
road?
going to be any different than it was before. It might even be a little better.
You move snow here?
Yeah.
You do? So it's improved.
It was the intent of the neighbor who did this work was just, this is the finished product? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think Bobby's concerned too, erosion, should be planted back to grass.
Yep.
Maybe some straw wattles and
I think it was all done with good intentions.
I believe it was. I don't think he had any ill
And it seems like he's got
intentions.
some knowledge of what he was doing.
Yeah.
What would be the cost of just a sack of seed and some
Well,
wattles?
I think he should seed it and put some straw wattles in and kind of take care of the erosion control.
I think that's pretty cheap.
And I think he also, Bobby wanted him to sign an agreement that he's held harmless because he did some work on the section line. So now that's another whole new,
That's between
That's
those
between
two.
yeah,
those two.
that's probably more a civil thing.
Okay.
So at a given, I think he should plant the grass back, when we disturb stuff, we plant grass back and take care of the erosion and so.
And if Mr. Kubas didn't have any problems with it, we'd never know about it
Yeah.
for forever.
It's not too late to plant grass yet
No.
in the season, put walls down.
Do you think if you have a conversation with him, it will be enough, or is
Well, you know what I could do? Why don't I reach out to Ryan and tell him, hey, you know what, you need to plant it back to grass, and if he has an issue with it, then we can go further, but
I mean,
we're running down to the wire, the temperature's pretty cold in the morning, so.
and Ryan is pretty level-headed.
I don't know him, but I'm sure I can have a conversation with him, tell him we discussed it at the meeting, and we'd like him to plant grass and maybe put a few straw wattles in.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's one other thing you probably had in your box. We had a discussion here a few months ago. We were actually renting a track hoe. Being it's kind of a used machine, we got to go out for bids on it. So it was in in your mailbox, so we're actually gonna take bids on a used machine. So we'll see what we come up with. And that's gonna be, we're gonna open bids on the 21st. I don't know if we want a special meeting or if just a couple commissioners could attend and just do it here in the courthouse. And the reason I'm kind of pushing this thing, because we used it a lot this past summer, and Todd has since gone out this summer, and he's GPS located every center line culvert in the county. There's like 2,600 and some culverts in the county. And through that process, he's found a lot of them, the bottoms are totally rusted out. I mean, so we've got a lot of work for this machine to do. And he said of them 2,600, there's about 300 plus that need work.
Just to rough it, what's the total rental we have on that already?
Well, I think I think it was 30 and then another 6, so, but come to find out, doing some pricing, I think the high number was too high, and so I think we just go out we have to bid it anyway, let's see what we get.
Okay.
Because like I said, we definitely have the use for it, and I'm thinking it's gonna be in that less than 140 range.
And I think once you have it, you're gonna find more and more uses for it.
Absolutely. You know, on the Taylor Road over here off the interstate, there's 3 60-inch culverts. The bottoms are just about rusted totally through. You know, our little backhoes, we can't do it. And we've got some really talented guys that go out and get them put in pretty fast, so. But anyway, that's when we're gonna open them. It's in your packet there on the 21st.
So do we need to authorize this, or did you just do
No,
it?
we advertised it already.
Got it.
And we got the money in the budget to pay for it, so. It's just that if you guys want to have a full commission to kind of look at, it's a possibility I may not be here. I'm gonna go to Oklahoma for a little while on vacation. But I can be on the phone. So it just decides if you want to have a full meeting or a few commissioners or however you want to do it. So.
So otherwise, we'd wait till, if we don't have a special meeting, we'd wait till the next month.
Well, I don't really want to wait because there's people that want to code it. They can only hang on to the equipment so long unless it's sold. Otherwise, somebody has a chance to. So.
That doesn't have to go through a full commission meeting since
No.
it's a request? Okay.
So, it's on the 21st, it's in your packet, so. I guess if you want to have a full commission meeting, let Karen know. If not, a couple commissioners can show up for it, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, on the 19th, we have delinquent tax thing. Is that a meeting for that, or is it just?
That's like an actual, I mean, that's not a normal meeting. That's like a auction,
Okay,
a delinquent tax auction.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Next we'll do the engineer's report.
Do we need to decide what we're gonna do on that for opening those bids?
I think we can just have the 2 road personnel.
Okay, I'm gonna be, the state fair deals in Minot, so I'll be gone that day, so somebody else will have to sit in on that.
Okay,
I'd be fine with that.
Okay, great, thank you.
okay. So then we'll have Commissioner Messer and Commissioner White. Are you available then? or-
Yep.
Okay, have those taken care of.
That's the 14th, right?
21st.
21st.
Okay, then we'll go to the engineer's report. We have KLJ, Mr. Krebs.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Just wanted to thank you for selecting us for that structure replacement project. We look forward to working with you on it, and then we'll get with the DOT and work on an agreement for it. So we can run through our projects. For our roundabout, we're currently finalizing and reviewing our geometry, the layout, and everything like that. And then we'll finalize the right-of-way limits and get our plats going so we can work on that right-of-way acquisition. And then we're also working on the environmental document for that. As far as our seal coat, all work has been done on the project. We were working on the project final, and then we finished it, submitted it to the DOT, and they're currently, we're waiting for them to review it. Once they go through everything, they'll approve the final estimate to close the project out. As part of that, remember you guys had that MOU with the city, so the city portion was $13,351.72. And that was split out as a different sub-project on the estimate. So I sent that all information to Al, and the city just asked that that invoice be sent to them so they can pay it before the end of the year. I don't know if you guys got any questions.
The roundabout thing is still scheduled for 2027, right?
Yeah, with the HIP, that's when the funding was initially planned for it. You know, we still got the intention of getting it done early so that if there's funding available, it can be moved up. Whether they have funding in that program or not, I'm not sure. I know we got a different project we're working on, Billings County, set for 2026 funding, which we'd have ready to bid ahead of time, and we asked if they had funding for that to move that one up, and they said they didn't. So I mean, the goal is to have it ready to move it up if they have funding. If they don't, then it would be for 2027.
Do you have, what's the estimate on this project again? Do you have one
Initially, yeah, it was 5 or 6 million.
for the roundabout?
Yeah, we did change some things, you know, that was initially all concrete, now we're going some asphalt in the circle, and so with the environmental document, we're putting together a new estimate based on everything, and then, you know, with our proposed section, you know, when we first put the estimate together, you didn't have a proposed section either, you're kind of doing some assumptions. So we'll put a better estimate together for this with the environmental document, and we can share that with you if you'd like.
It's a pretty staggering number.
It is ridiculous,
I
when you
mean,
think
I
about
was
it.
just gonna say, I mean, if this whole federal funding doesn't come through, it's something we could look at, but that's a giant number, and the only reason I say
it's-
that, I've witnessed people,
Yeah.
I've been driving down there, I've witnessed people blow through that stop sign coming from the north. Crazy. At really high speeds, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, it is programmed in there, so it's gonna happen, you know.
When you
pretty
drive
good
through a
chance.
roundabout, you don't think about the cost of it.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, ridiculous that it costs that much.
yeah.
And there was a lot of issues that I've seen with having them paved.
Yeah.
Where for example, they had to shut down the one in Killdeer that's all concrete.
Yep.
And had 24-hour flaggers there for a short period of time, just because of the flow of traffic and letting the concrete cure.
Yep.
So asphalt, you don't need to do that with.
Yeah.
Killdeer also has some of them that have been launched. Cars and semi-trucks have launched over them because they've been so steep. So I think there's been some changes to this one, so it's not as, larger farmer equipment can go around it and over it. And
Yeah.
whatever needs to.
Yep, yeah, we got a bigger, I guess, center circle that's gonna be concrete that normal traffic doesn't drive on, but
It
would
doesn't have
allow
that-
tracking.
Big of a drop on the curve, it's
Yep.
more,
To mount what they call a mountable curb. You can
Yep.
mount the curb all the way to the circle in the middle.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be a mounted, and then we weren't gonna do any curb on the outside edges, so you can plow the snow right off. Like I said, we're gonna do asphalt where everybody drives, you know, just in case. You could mill it up, pave it back in the same day if you had to. So yeah, we've made some improvements to try to head some of that off, yes.
So is this 100% federal funded, or?
It's
Nine-
gonna 90/10.
So flex funds, would this be a target for flex funds potentially?
Possible, but if you can target when it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
You know, they've learned, the industry has learned a lot about roundabouts since the very first ones put in. Like the mountable curves, get them wide enough. We call this one a low boy roundabout, so low boys can mount it. And so you can sweep the snow off, so you ain't banging into curbs when you get a big heavy snowfall. So the DOT recommended probably asphalt, because like Andrew said, if you get a bad spot, you dig it out the same day, you pave it back, you're done. Not you gotta let it cure for 10 days and flag the traffic, so I think it'll be good.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we'll do interstate engineering, Mr. Cattermas.
Morning.
Morning.
The graphic I sent in is outdated. What I'd like to talk about is 130th Avenue bridge removal. We're working with the state, giving them some options and some estimates to see if they'll still fund putting back a low water crossing on that. So in the meantime, we do have our sub-consultant back out there finishing up the Class 3 and the aquatic resources survey.
Okay,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Okay, Highland Engineering, Mr. Frank.
Morning, Commissioners. Andrew Schrank with Highlands Engineering. Just want to let you know our 83rd Avenue project just north and east of Richardson. We've wrapped up construction on that. If you recall, that was a bid earlier this year to Bronco Brothers with a low bid of just under $619,000. Our semifinal estimate here was right around $613,000, so it looks like we'll be within about 1% of that contract amount on the project. The construction went very well. Bronco Brothers did a great job on the project, and we're going to work to finalize all of our paperwork and things with the DOT here through the end of the year. I did include in our package here some pictures of the construction, just so you can kind of see where that money went and the process to put in a culvert like this. So take a look at those pictures. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Any questions?
They didn't come through. They were in the letter if you want, I can forward that on, so.
They're in our packets.
I'd like to elaborate a little bit on these low water crossings, these bridges. When we went to our DOT meeting in Bismarck, on our program sheet, they had a considerable amount of money for the 3 projects that are over by Richardson and the one that Jim is working on for just removal. We're making the argument that we can remove them and put a low crossing back in for the money they have. So we're still trying to get that through. So that's kind of where, hopefully, I mean, they got like $1.2 million to remove 3 bridges, and Andrew, I think we can probably do them for 45 for all 3.
Yeah, correct. We did have a low water crossing project last year that got put on hold due to lack of funding. The DOT basically told us we'll fund the removal. But as Al pointed out, they've slated $1.2 million for those projects, and our engineer's estimate for all 3 was $1 million. To remove these structures, this Richardson box culvert was about $20,000 to remove that. We did one 2 years ago for about $15,000. So to remove those 3 bridges is $60,000 essentially. So they have over $1 million out there that would fund our entire project. So we're seeing if they'll consider that those 3 low water crossings, if they'll fund those since the money's out there, the removal and the replacement. And we haven't heard back quite yet, but we'll keep checking in on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, yeah. That's nice job on this, these pictures and stuff. I was out there a couple times and it's like,
They did a good job. It turned out very good, yes.
Okay. Northern Plains, no one here from Northern Plains?
Jeremy could not make it.
Okay. Next, we have the South Art Fire, Mr. Kylan.
I guess I'm here because I made a mistake, so. No, I'm gonna try to plead my case, but I just miscommunication with Karen and me, I guess. I just forgot about that budget report and stuff, so I did give one back, so I don't know if you guys have that or not.
You have a copy of it, yes.
Okay. But I guess I don't know what else to say, but.
What's the background on this, Karen?
Karen, can you give us a little background?
Okay, so we have 2 statements that go out. We have an estimated tax statement where you have to turn in a preliminary budget by a certain deadline to meet the estimated tax statement. So if you don't turn in a budget, I have to use your previous year's amount on the estimated tax statement, so you can't go up from your previous year levy. What happens is if you then turn in a final budget, you would get your previous year's amount that was set at the estimated tax statement because we can't go up, but the final budget would give you the ability to levy taxes. So the deadline for a final budget is October 10th. So if you didn't turn in a preliminary and you didn't turn in a final budget by October 10th, I can't charge tax mills for your entity. That's kind of where we're at. In the previous 2 years, I've had 2 other entities that did not turn in a preliminary or a final budget, and I could not charge tax mills to people for those entities.
And the deadline again for the prelims, August?
I can't remember the deadline for the preliminary, but it's October 10th for the final. Most entities, if they don't turn in a preliminary, they will turn in a final, or they'll turn in a preliminary and they won't turn in a final because they're just going with their preliminary. So it's usually one or another. Unfortunately for South Hart Fire,
Okay,
I did not receive a preliminary or a final for them by the deadline.
for 24,
This is
or for 25.
This is for 2024 taxes that we will be
Giving
sending on the
sure.
tax statement,
Yep.
collecting.
So, I'm just looking, what do we actually levy in 23 for 24?
So I know you see these dollar amounts in here that seem higher. So this, and I can see on their budget, this is including the income because they do get a portion of our state aid that we send over. So those dollar amounts that seem higher than the 50,000 is because that's some of their state aid that's intermingled in there from the county.
Okay.
The county state aid. I want to say on the estimated tax statements, basically it's the 50,000 that you're needing for operations for next year. I had a conversation with Pat and I did tell them that they will need to be doing a budget and having like a budget meeting. It doesn't have to be a full public hearing because you're under the threshold for the 100,000, but every one of our entities has to prepare a budget
Right.
every year. Yep. And so I had that conversation with him and I also asked, I see your balance in your savings, what I do for the other fire departments and entities is if you do have a balance that you could do without that money, what is that balance for? And most of them are saving to buy a piece of equipment. And so Pat said that they are already, that's what they're saving, they're saving up for. For a tanker water truck. So he did have the justifications, it just didn't meet the deadline for me to levy taxes.
So
Guess
bottom
I
line,
just had a little misunderstanding, because on our August 8th meeting, then I told the directors that I missed the budget. And if that was okay, I understood we would just get the same amount, but we could increase, which was fine, but that wasn't so.
For the preliminary,
Yeah.
but the final, it throws people off because we didn't used to have estimated tax statements. And so
Right.
they're used to not having to,
What
do
is the
that
dollar
portion.
amount that is in play here?
Well, it's like 50,000, right?
yep, so it's a little more than 50,000, but they're still gonna receive the county state aid that we send over there to all of our fire departments. It's the 50,000 that would have been the tax levy portion.
Okay, so are they maxed out on their levy?
No, not at all.
I'd say, so previous years, 2024, would they, I guess the thing I'm saying is there an opportunity for them in 26 to bring 25, cure a defect that they did in 25?
by just levying more.
So South Hart Fire only has, they are very conservative in South Hart Fire, and they've never went to the vote to get increased millage. So they are our only fire department that is under the 5 mills.
Okay.
Okay.
If they went to a full 5, though, they could potentially make,
No, their mills are worth something, but it would be like $50,000 for them would be like 3.68 mils. So there's no way they could recoup that in a
year's
But-
time.
But 2 years
No.
they could.
By them not submitting this on time, you were going off 2023 then, right? Did you say you previously?
For the estimated tax statement, I was able to go by the previous year amount to get the estimated tax statement, because then that gives you time to get your final budget in.
Okay.
But since I didn't receive either, I tax,
Correct.
She can't tax
Any.
anything.
not for this fire department.
So if they maxed out their mills, it would take 2 years to fix.
At least, yeah. Going forward, they just wouldn't have anything for this coming year for tax.
Have we ever addressed an issue like this previously? You mentioned some have forgotten one or the other, but not both, correct? If I'm,
We have had this issue in the last 2 years with two different park boards. But they were city parks and they were addressed by their cities.
Are you going down the road of like a short-term loan here?
well, I don't know if that's legal, but I'm just wondering if, I mean, we want our fire districts up and running. We don't want them out of money. And I guess the first thing that comes to mind is, yeah, you have some savings. If that piece of equipment is not used in 2025, you know, maybe go off the savings or it doesn't arrive and you use that money, go off the savings and then max yourself for 26 and 27. But if that piece of equipment is showing up and you got to pay for it, maybe there is somewhere where we could do a bridge loan for you. I don't know if we can legally or not, but I just throwing out ideas. We want these fire districts functioning.
Yeah, I don't know. I've done it all other years, but I just can't do it.
What, the pumper, a water truck is what you're saving up for, right?
Yeah.
And what's
Well, they already got kind of like bids on it already, so we're hoping by the beginning of the year or something that we can purchase it and stuff.
is this a pickup truck chassis waterbed or?
No, it'll be a triaxle truck,
Okay.
5,000 gallon tank on it.
So your savings is, do you have what's the price tag on that thing?
Well, we're hoping like 120,000 that we can get it for, but I don't know, the last meeting we had that we had two different bids, so they just don't come up with an answer.
This is built new, right?
Yeah. The truck might be a few years old, but the tank and every pumps and spray system on there.
Okay.
Well, outside of a loan, which I'm not sure we can even do, it's gonna have to be a general fund transfer. That's the only other way.
So if it's a loan, do we charge interest on it then, or how does that work?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not really, I'm not really sure about a loan like that situation and then charging them interest. I don't think I've even heard of a county.
We pulled for the Gladstone Fire Department, 30,000 a couple years ago, I believe it was, for
We've done
generator.
We've done two of them, two
Yes.
fundings to the, so the other option that comes secondary is, yeah, do we do something towards their potential piece of equipment and then make them use some of their savings that's dedicated to that truck? I don't know.
So obviously we want to fund the South Hart Fire Department because, fire. But my suggestion to the commission would be to fund, maybe up to 40,000 of the 50,000 they're asking for. And then I spoke to Dunn County and told them about the situation. The South Hart Fire Department does go into Dunn County. They normally do get mill levy dollars from Dunn County. And they would probably, I'm pretty positive that they would also contribute to it. So that is another option. I just don't want to, I don't want this, I want South Hart to be covered, but I also don't have a way around following
No, you don't.
the state law for tax levies, so.
Do you also submit to Dunn County then as well? And did you miss them as well this year?
No,
I know. It all goes in one.
Oh, okay.
so they submit it to me, Dunn County submits my values in that district, and then I tell them what to mill.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little different process there. But they do go up into Dunn County, so.
So what's your recommendation?
I'll make a motion that we fund 40,000 towards the purchase of their water truck
Coming from the general fund?
Coming out of our general fund.
A motion, do I have a second? I'll second. Other discussion?
Do we want to, I mean, we can, we have a motion, but maybe they need to do the full 5 mils.
They're gonna have to do their.
For the next
For
2,
the
3
next
years,
three-
yeah.
Yeah.
2 years,
Right.
yeah.
When are you planning on purchasing this truck?
When,
Yes,
by, hope January or something
so
like
in the
that.
next couple months.
Yeah.
Is there no trading off any other vehicle?
Nope.
Getting rid of? a
We
vehicle?
have, a 1983 tanker that we would probably sell off too. But it's got aluminum tank on it, it's got some leaks in it and stuff, so. And it's had its share of work.
Okay.
Okay, guess we have a motion and a second. I'll do a roll call vote then. Commissioner Messer,
Aye.
the chair votes aye. Commissioner Clares,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
motion carries. So
Thank
I'll
you.
take care of you then.
Yep.
Okay,
I had one clarification. You said about the 5 mils. There's no way that we can you can't as a commission force them to do 5 mils, but they would have to put in the dollar amount and then that determines the mill levy up to 5 mils. So if you are doing the 40,000 for the fire truck, they actually probably wouldn't, they would go with their normal, I guess, amount for the following year if they get some funding from Dunn County. And Pat, I did speak to Dunn County, so
Okay,
I would probably I gave them a heads up
okay,
about
I
it.
will.
Okay?
Yep.
Put it on your calendar for next year
Yeah.
so you don't get
Don't
forgotten.
worry, I told her to put a star on something.
You don't get stars for doing.
So when the commission approves that, do you want to wait until they get their fire truck and have them send over
Yes.
the invoice and then we can send the check? Is that what you were?
That was the intent of the motion, yes.
Okay.
Okay, sounds like a winner.
For you, Pat?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Pat.
And Pat, for your information too, you may let your fire crew know, we sucked all the tanks dry, so there's no water out there.
Okay.
But we do keep a water truck all winter long loaded in the shop, so if you ever need fire in wintertime, we do have probably 4,000 gallons available, so just let them know.
Good. Thank you.
okay. We'll take a break now till 20 after.
questions. Okay, thank you. Good morning, Chairman Franchuk, Commissioners. Steve Josephson, County Planner. We had 2 cases that went to last week's Planning and Zoning Commission, and I just wanted to bring them forward for approval. So the first one was a rezoning RZ0524 for Maureen Smith, who's requesting a rezoning from agriculture to agricultural residential. If you look at the monitor, it's that slim piece that's outlined in red. She wants to put it on the market. It's 22.4249 acres, which is why she needs the rezoning. This is south of Gladstone. Both the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff recommend approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the commission? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Recommend the RZ 5-24. Is that the correct one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the correct one.
The rezoning.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Adopt. I'm sorry, Commissioner White, do you mean to adopt it? I know it says recommend my staff report.
Okay, to adopt the recommendation.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. We'll notify the applicant, this today.
Okay.
The second one is a conditional use permit. Dunn County, North Dakota is requesting a conditional use permit for a gravel pit, and it's located in the west half of Section 34, Township 139, Range 91. The actual mining site would be approximately 19 acres. This is a property that's owned by the Dedes. Apparently, there has been an existing pit in the vicinity. The Planning and Zoning Commission and staff recommend approval subject to conditions. The Terry Schwarzenberger from Dunn County wasn't able to be here today, but we know that Dunn County's road department has been working very closely with Stark County's road department, and if there are any questions, Mr. Heiser would be willing to answer them. Anyway, you've got the recommendation in front of you, subject to conditions, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the conditional use permit.
I'll make that motion.
Give a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Not roll call. Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. And just to let the commissioners know, we have 5 applications that are going forward to November. So especially for Commissioners Franchuk and Claris, we have 5 applications going forward for the November Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Just
Okay.
thought I'd let you know that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next we'll do emergency management. Ms. Decker.
Good morning, Chairman Franchuk, Commissioners. Lena Decker, Stark County Emergency Manager. Wait for presentation to get up there. All right, so this is my report for October. All of our community lifelines are currently stable. In October, there was a total of 55 calls for the fire departments across the county. Low on controlled burns this month due to conditions. Decent amount of brush fires, all due to accidental starts. So people are being really conscientious of the burn restrictions, and I appreciate the communities for following those restrictions. We're up to about 52 wildfires for the county. Around 780 acres have burned so far. With hunting coming up this weekend, I would just ask that hunters going out into areas with their vehicles to pack equipment to be ready for any fires that may start unintentionally. Fire extinguishers, water, shovels. Try not to let your vehicles idle for too long in areas with brush. That helps. If you do have an accidental start, just make sure to call it in right away. with winter coming, it's time to get ready. So some things you can do is to dress appropriately. About 63% of temperature-related deaths are attributed to cold exposure. Home heating is the second leading cause of home fires during the winter, and the winter is when we see some of the most home fires. Traveling during the winter has unique risks, so make sure your car is prepared to travel and be prepared if you are going to be stranded. And then make sure that your smoke and CO alarms are current and have working batteries to test them monthly, and then to use safe heating practices for your home. And that's all I have for this month. I'll take any questions.
Any questions? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I have two other things on the agenda.
Oh, you with Civil Air, right? And then
Yep. I
emergency
think on the
man-
agenda it says civil air control. It should be patrol.
Patrol, yeah.
Which is okay. So this is an MOU with Civil Air Patrol. They have asked if they could put a base station in our garage with our other radios, and then attach with a coax line into our tower into an antenna. I have all the existing infrastructure currently. Any costs associated with that they would take on for the install. This would help expand their reach. They currently have a repeater at Radar Base Hill, so this would help to expand the reach. It was actually thanks to our tower at Radar Base Hill that Bismarck was able to communicate with Civil Air Patrol over in McKenzie County during the fires. So this would just be an extra help for Civil Air Patrol. And I have Mr. Zent here with Civil Air Patrol if you have any questions. He would be the expert.
Any questions for?
I'll let him talk to you.
Repeater on our tower?
What's that? No, it's put a base station in our garage and then hook that base station into our tower.
Our repeater is shared in the same building and tower with the ham radio people up on Radar Base Hill. It's kind of on the east side of the hill. The only thing we're asking is some space in the building here to hook up the power and the internet and put a antenna on the tower here that'll give us line of sight to the repeater.
So a base station, does that mean then you'd need access to it when you need it then, or?
Oh, it's remote.
Okay,
It's hooked up to the internet, which has those limitations, but as long as internet's working, it allows us to have an incident commander anywhere running a mission here.
Okay, any other questions? I'll look for a motion for a memorandum of understanding between the Stark County and Civil Air Patrol. Motion, do I have a second?
a second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, then you have a mutual aid agreement between Hettinger County and Stark.
Yep, this is a mutual aid agreement with Hettinger County. We've signed this before back in 2019, just with a bunch of changeovers and commissions and emergency management. I'm just going through all of our old MOUs and just making sure they're up to date. So nothing's changed on this except who signed it.
Okay, any questions on this? Now I'll look for a motion to approve signature.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have a position on the Stark County Housing Authority Board appointment. Ms. Piercy, are you handling that, or?
Is this
Okay.
the same gal she's the new planner at the city of Dickinson?
Right.
Okay, all right.
I had posted this opening for the Housing Authority Board, and Natalie Birchak, the new planning director at the city, was interested in filling this position and has submitted her application for your appointment.
Okay, any questions, or? Now I'll look for motion to approve. are appointed to the County Housing Authority Board.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next we have a election voucher request.
So my request to the commission is, actually to help my office out a little bit. We have election workers that worked, they weren't able to be paid on this accounts payable. We were hoping, I was hoping that the commission would let us go ahead and pay our election workers on this next payroll. It's $17 an hour for their hours worked, as opposed to waiting till the December meeting when we also have to pay out longevity. It's in, it's in the elections budget. I just have to put the election
Do you know the
worker.
dollar amount approximately?
No idea yet.
Okay.
No, but it's $17 an hour, and it would be within the election budget, but you have to approve the voucher to pay the election workers.
Do you have a total hours count of all election workers?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
That'd be
We're
interesting.
still collecting time sheets.
Yeah, what takes so long?
Yeah.
I would move that we accelerate and authorize the auditor to pay the election workers.
A
Okay.
second.
A motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Also like to thank all the people that have helped with the election and all the employees that stepped over too and helped with the auditor's office, and the auditor's office worked well. Thank you. I think the election went quite smooth.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Next, we have the Gladstone Senior Citizens Center.
Good morning, Dean.
Morning.
Chairman, Commissioners.
Okay, I'm Lorraine Erdman, the president. We've been here before. We wanted to thank everybody for all the help that they did. We are the directors, that's Stephanie Stogan, Mark and Lorraine Erdman. And we were very appreciative of everybody that stepped up and helped us. The only thing we could think of doing was presenting, oh, do you have the?
Yeah, the slides are on the.
Okay, then I can go through that. This is our wonderful workers helping us out, and they're starting to do the paving, the asphalt and everything. And it's just the engineering department working on it. And you can go to the next one. I don't know who's doing it.
Somebody taking a picture. It doesn't look like it'll work.
Alan's taking a picture of his crew people. Thank you, Al, for having them going. And then this is when it's all been done and completed. We got our asphalt in, and right now we're still kind of working on the handicap sign. We had the handicap sign, but they said we had to get van accessible, so we had to get that little thing made, and Four Seasons Trophies is making that for us. And then here is the side that going under the canopy area, which is going to be a drive-through, so we can hopefully make some money to help maintain the Senior Citizen Center. And
It's for coffee.
yeah, coffee, and, you know, they can come through in the morning, because there's really no place to get coffee except when you get to Dickinson. And when you think about the people who are at Regent and Mott that have to go, it can be a long way, one way or the other. Also, we have the Enchanted Highway along that area, and Gary had offered that he'll put some signs up to help us out making money to offset the expenses of utilities and heat. And you went backward. And this is, okay, good, thank you very much, whoever's doing it. Right after, we finally have our certificate of occupancy, so thank you guys very, very much.
Part of that story is our mayor, who we finally got rid of. 2 weeks later, we got this in the mail, our certificate of occupancy. He held on to it for 2.5 years, which wouldn't allow us to do a meals program because they required us to have a certificate of occupancy. So we're proud of that.
Yeah, and so now what we can do, since we have that, we can get a hold of the meals, the senior meals, and try bringing meals into Gladstone. And we just don't know if we're gonna go through Richardson or go through the Dickinson unit. So we'll see whichever one works the best for everybody involved. And then the next one, please. That is.
Dakota.
That's when the Dakota, they came to, we had this activity, so to say. It was to help not just seniors,
Yeah.
anybody who has a handicap. They had all kinds of tools. It was unreal what there is available to people who have any kind of disability or handicap. And it was fantastic that the ladies showed up to help us, show that and everything. And then the next one, and then we had the pumpkin party. And next one, please. And that was the inside of our senior citizen
children.
building with all the pumpkins and the kids that are gonna be there. We had 12 of them, I think.
Yeah.
It was really kind of neat because we had young parents with babies and little tots. And then we had parents with babies, little tots, and teenagers. So I honestly feel that when we get this, now that we've had a couple of activities, it will help the community of Gladstone. Not only for the seniors, but also for the community and the young people that are there, so that their families can be more united and work together. And the next one, please.
That's the town hall meeting.
Oh, okay, we had a town hall meeting where people weren't quite aware of how all the measures were working and everything. So what we did is we had a town hall meeting that explained all the measures, how they worked, and so people could make a better educated decision on how they were voting. Because some of the people really didn't understand, and we would break it down, because we get older, we can't see the paper very well. So a lot of them didn't really read everything because you really can't see everything. So we had the meeting, and that really worked out really well. And we had several people that will probably join us because of that activity. Next, and this is what we want to, go ahead.
I'll just present it.
Give it to, very much.
Come around.
And this is a thank you.
Here he comes. Dean's walking.
And,
He's coming out to get it.
oh, good. Nice. Good. We didn't know who to give it to. And
Yes.
we want to thank you guys. That's the only thing we could think of to really thank you guys for what you did. And Bernie Marsh and Al Heiser came out.
Here comes Al with his camera again.
It's okay. That's cute.
Should the rest of us get?
Yes.
You can go over
Yeah.
by Al Heiser, and I'll go over by Marsh.
You're sure, you can stand in front, Lori.
Yeah, you're not tall. You're too tall.
And Al?
Is that a picture of him taking a picture? A picture of you taking a picture?
We were going to do that one, but we did the senior citizen.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for
Yes.
these small communities.
Yes.
You gotta keep
Yep.
going somehow.
Yes, and we're really thankful for Al Heiser and Bernie Marsh to come to our city meeting to say how important seniors are. And I really believe that meeting helped break some of the ice.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Okay.
Thank you for your time and everything. We really appreciate what you've done for us.
Well, you've done a lot of work, hard work. You got your head bumped into the wall how many times, and you kept coming back out. So good job.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. But we felt it was very important because our parents and aunts and uncles and the other older senior citizens felt it was very important to have that in Gladstone since 1977. And we felt as the next generation that we need to keep this going because we don't want to lose the small communities.
No, we do not.
And I think by working with the community part of it and the senior center part of it, we also have a little museum that have military uniforms because a lot of our ancestors, whatever, the ones that started it were in military. So we have some military uniforms. The only one I'm missing is Marines and Coast Guard. I have to get those two yet. So it's a tribute to the ones who started it, and we're gonna move forward, and I'm hoping that the community center will bring the young people in, because nobody wants to be a senior. And then we're gonna tell them when they hit 55, they have to join the senior part.
There you go.
That's our steps to doing it, and we really think for the young families,
Well, it's nice to see your pride and your enthusiasm continues to
always
work.
have it.
She's fourth generation Gladstone. Her parents actually got the building from South School. I think it was
The
South
school.
Prairie School. That's where the building came from.
When it was an addition, one of those classrooms,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they gave it to us. And then Mark originally did the foundation part of that,
When I used to work for
Okay.
Holsing. So
and he, did that for free and everything, so we do have a little interest in it. And Stephanie is just learning.
I'm still learning.
She doesn't want to be a senior.
Nope.
I think she's got a ways to go before she hits that number.
She's there
A
though.
couple years. That's it.
Thank you guys very
Yeah.
much. for
Do you
your
have
time and
operational
everything
hours
you've
yet,
done.
or are you?
I'm sorry?
Your hours of operation, or are you opening it yet, or certain hours, or do you have set hours, or?
we try to open every morning till 11. We're not getting anybody yet, but it's going to take a little time, And as more members come, we can stay open longer. And I think once we start the meal program, we'll start getting regular hours then. So,
Okay, okay, thank you.
Usually open
Thank
up
you.
about 7 o'clock in the morning, so if people need to get to, work and coffee and that. And, but by 11, he's done.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. I think the last item on there was the tax pamphlet.
Yeah,
you took-
just real quickly, we've been, at least 2 out of the last 3 years, we've included in the tax bill a pamphlet, which is basically our effort to be transparent of where the tax dollars goes to various departments and those kind of things. And be honest with you, on all the events, part of my presentation typically on these Measure 4 events was pulling out Stark County's brochure and showing the people who had questions, where the dollars are going and all those kind of things. So I'd like to see us do that again. I think we should probably authorize that. But in part of that, if we do authorize it, one of the things that kind of amazed me was the lack of understanding on the homestead tax credit as far as eligibility. There was a lot of people out there who are eligible who have not applied. Now, we do have a component in there. It's a little paragraph, but I don't know how we do it better. But there are a lot of people statewide who didn't understand the changes because the income threshold and those kind of things have all been changed. The asset threshold has actually been eliminated. So I'd like to see us make sure we try to provide that information as a benefit to those who would be eligible for it. So if we could, first of all, I'd like to see us authorize the brochure again, and then number 2, do whatever we need to do to emphasize that homestead tax credit.
Is that a motion?
What was the cost of it that last year?
It wasn't that much.
Didn't we just do it on a sheet last year, a regular page?
Yeah, because
And it wasn't a brochure, and then it was just inserted at like a penny a statement.
yeah, so what we did, well, to save some money and time, we put it into a one page, and then the company out of Bismarck that stuffs our tax statements in envelopes, they included it that way, so one page as opposed to a brochure. If we would have went the brochure route, I mean, they don't hand stuff anything, and we had a stuffing of the envelope issue.
You'd have to fold it.
So we put out multiple things in that envelope with that.
Right, there
tax
is
statements plus-
usually, there's gonna be something I can tell you from the state about the primary residence credit, cause that's starting back, right, in January, that portal opened back up for the primary residence credit round 2, so there will be one of those in there, then there will be your tax statement, And then there's gonna be this sheet as well.
Can we also put that on the county's Facebook website as well?
Yeah,
That'd
but
be-
the vast majority of the individuals who qualify for that don't access the internet, right? I mean, that's
Right.
the challenge.
Bernie still accesses the internet.
Yes.
Do, but I don't access our Stark County page.
Do you have any kind of like shortened, abbreviated information about credit that you could possibly,
It's,
a short blurb even on the one page where you do the estimated taxes?
I think you put it in there last year.
Yeah,
As a part of that. I'm just saying,
it's just people aren't.
Is it highlighted in some way to get
you know,
people
whatever we need to do, I'm,
bigger fonts, whatever?
yeah. And that's one thing that surprised me was the number of people who were eligible that did not take advantage of it.
Or don't open their tax statements.
Well, that too,
What's the
may.
first eligibility? Is it 65?
So 65 and over, the asset limitation has gone away. There used to be, I think it was 200,000 in assets. The income limitation, help me, Karen, or Natalie?
It has
is
significantly
increased. It went to
increased. It used to be way lower, and now I want to say it's, you know, 70, goes up to
75,000.
like 70-something thousand, where it used to be way lower than that, so not very many people.
Short blurb on that one, explaining how we tax in this county. Just if you're 65 or over, don't forget about the homestead tax credit. You know, inquire with the auditor or whatever it may be, just to kind of throw that out there to.
Yeah,
to-
it was
to
in the
inquire.
brochure. It was, that was sent last year. It's just that
Okay.
I think it gets overlooked,
Yeah.
you know.
There was also, I think, there was a separate thing sent about the homestead credit part because of expanding it. That was also sent. I am a little bit lost on how else to get information to people because I don't know.
Okay, I just thought
But
I'd
we
try.
did have a significant amount increase in homestead credits because it's actually the tax department that does the homestead credits and the veterans credits. And there was a significant amount more people that applied. But you are always going to have people that say, well, I don't know about it. And so I don't know how to reach those people.
Yeah, I mean, that, it does not cost the county any money. The homestead tax credits were reimbursed by the state for it, so we should do whatever we can to promote it. So, okay, get it.
Did you have,
So
I think you had a
we need a
question.
motion to put that pamphlet in, or it's not a pamphlet, but we'll call it a pamphlet.
Yeah, if you wanna authorize for us to do, for my office to do a pamphlet or a sheet to go get inserted into your tax statements with that information, that would be good.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Do you have a question, Sumner?
I was gonna say, that it could automatically go to seniors? Or that income problem would be the problem?
Well, the problem is the mailing address sometimes is not the same as the owner's address, you know, so somebody under 55 or under 65 gets the bill for mom and dad to make sure the bill gets paid.
We also don't know people's ages.
Yeah.
Based on their owning their property, so.
You know, there, right there would be like maybe a good, something to hang in your senior center.
Mhm.
Is, you know, some sort of information that, you know, hey, don't forget about this, apply, or at least inquire about it, if your eligibility with the county.
I like not ever.
Okay. Anything else? Now I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna
Those
be
opposed?
gone next meeting, but I'll try and call in or Zoom in or whatever.
We'll probably have our oath of office next meeting.
I guess that's gonna be.
You might have to do it early.
And it said,
Yeah.
and I need to clarify with Amanda. I need to clarify with Amanda because it's a little, it says you take office on the first Monday in December. It says first Monday in December.
Right.
Well, so, and you're supposed to have the oath when you, as soon as you take office. So is it okay that